I had that dream again. My small business needs to hire, but I don't use LinkedIn and I hire wrong. So our orders get all backed up. We're drowning in paperwork, then actually drowning. Carol is fighting off sharks with a stapler and pirates are pillaging the office copier and... Then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant goes beyond the resume, using unique insights to deliver a smarter shortlist. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/quality. Start hiring today with LinkedIn.
What is Cafe Mocha? Cafe Mocha is experts, celebrities.
What's up? This is Bell Biv DeVoe.
Yours truly, Idris Elba.
This is Fantasia.
This is En Vogue.
This is India Ari.
So much more. All from a woman's perspective.
What flavor are you, baby?
This is Cafe Mocha.
Cafe Mocha. Hope you had a great Christmas and are ready for a good new year. This is Radio from a Woman's Perspective with Lonnie Love. Yo, I'm the producer, Angelique. If you are a fan of true crime, then you love ABC's 2020. We've got the host of 2020, Deborah Roberts, coming up.
You had that Hennessy in the throat.
You know I've been. The new year is upon us, and I understand you're going to be a part of the big Rose Bowl parade.
Yes, I will be part of the Tournament of Roses correspondent. This is my first time. Actually, I will be corresponding and announcing the attractions for the Tournament of Roses.
The floats to go by? Okay.
You know how like you see like on ABC or the Today Show? Well, I'm doing it for the Rose Bowl committee, the official people. And I'm excited. I will be co-hosting it. And this will be my first time. But this is the thing, Angelique. I can't get lit for New Year's because, you know.
Oh, yeah. You got to be ready for the...
That's the only issue. It's like, because ladies and gentlemen, here come the high school people. Oh, look at the boo-boos. They're doing their thing. I'm so tired. I should have drank last night, but welcome to the Rose Bowl. It will be a mess. So I'm just going to, hang in because you have to be up really early. And, I'm excited to do it. And it's just an honor. And I can't believe that, I will be doing this. And the nice thing is that after we do the parade, I get to actually go see the floats up close and take pictures and all of that. So I think it's just a great way to start off 2026. What are you going to do for 2026? What you doing for New Year's Eve?
Oh, okay. So, my birthday is January 3rd, which is essentially New Year's. And every year I complain about the fact that nobody ever does anything on my birthday because it falls right after holiday. And most people are going back to work on the 3rd or they're flat broke on the 3rd. Well, this year, my birthday is on the weekend. What? So, but first, I need to whine about my last 2 birthdays, okay? Last year, the person I was supposed to hang out with, supposed to take me out, didn't, for some undisclosed reason, which I'm sure was a lie. The year before that, everybody left before the 3rd, and I was literally just sitting in the house by myself. So, I know it's depressing. I'm hoping people will like send me money, cash at me, or like send me tickets or something. It's just, I'm just whining. But this year I'm going to go back to the Bahamas and go and just have a nice little summertime thing. Spend the New Year's Eve there and spend my birthday there and hang out with some friends.
Oh, wow. Well, one thing I will also be doing is I will be watching myself on NBC, the NBC New Year's Toast special.
Oh, wow.
It's something I do every year. So I have that to look forward to. I can, it's like what we do on NBC is we wrap up the year and what has happened throughout the whole year. And it's usually a really cute special with all the NBC like correspondents. And, I'm over here cracking jokes and stuff. So you're in,
I'm sorry, are you allowed to get drunk at that one or no?
No, because we're actually going to pre-tape it and it's going to run on New Year's Eve. So,
okay. Gotcha.
It's like a little so like if you're at home and you just, you hanging out, just turn it on and you'll see me and all these other people on on NBC, and that's gonna be fun. And then the next day, I'll be doing the Rose Bowl parade. So, hey, I got to get my work while I can.
I know that's right. But we're expecting a great year in 2026. It certainly can't be. I shouldn't say that because it could get worse, but we're hoping for better.
I mean, this is my thing. I think that you should plan your 2026. You should still, if you that vision board person, do your vision board. If you want to write down your goals, write down your goals. Don't let what's happening politically and, economically affect what your dreams are. You still have to work towards your goals and your dreams. You still have to, have a roadmap. So there's no excuse.
Listen, I'm not going to argue with you, but my thought and a lot of other people's thoughts, and if you think back, when you're hungry and you scratching for $5 to put in your gas tank, it is hard to focus on tomorrow's goals. It's hard to get past that, this is my last $3 to be thinking about what you want to do 5 years from now.
Well, I mean, you are correct. But I'm saying that you still, I mean, it's always a hustle.
Okay, but there's a hustle and then there's a real life struggling to survive. I mean, everybody hustling. Isn't that a song?
Yeah, but you gotta, if you don't think that is going to get better, then what do you have to look forward to? And everybody has those peaks and they have those valleys. And I think right now, a lot of us are in the valley and we're trying to get to the peak. And I think also, because I do my meditations, the one thing that I always do, no matter what, is that there's something to be grateful for. If you got that last $5, you got, be grateful for that last $5 and know that something else is going to come your way. You do have to do some action. You have to, it's going to be a tough year. It's like right now, the statistic says that there are more people without jobs than jobs available. But, you have to know that God has a purpose for you. You can't just sit back and be like, well, all is done. No, you have to believe and know. And the one thing I love about being Black, I think we're very spiritual people. And sometimes we have to lean on each other. Do not be afraid to ask for help. Do not be afraid to go ask for assistance. Yeah. Do not, there are still people out there that will help you. There are foundations, even the government. If you got to, first of all, y'all, we all pay taxes, whether you pay income taxes, sales taxes. If you're an American and you've been living here, you pay taxes. You deserve a right to a quality life, just like the billionaires and the millionaires and people like that. So don't think that you can't go and ask for assistance or you can't go ask for help. You can. You just have to. Faith without works is what?
Dead.
And that's the whole thing.
On the way, she's the host of the true crime show, ABC's 2020. We're talking to Deborah Roberts.
Standing in solidarity from a woman's perspective. It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha. We know her as the co-anchor on 2020, bringing us some of the most heart-pounding true crime stories, as well as a dedicated journalist, wife, and mom. But Deborah Roberts is also a New York Times bestselling author, and she's got a new book out that focuses entirely on that sisterly bond titled Sisters, Love and Treasure. I am so happy to have you join us on Cafe Mocha. Hey, Miss Roberts.
First time ever.
Hey, guys. Oh, my God. Well, I am just delighted. I'm thrilled to be a part of this and to join you guys. And I love the name, Cafe Mocha. It just makes me feel warm and cozy.
I love it.
So I just want to know straight out the gate, because I am a huge fan. It is required viewing in my home to watch 2020 with all the mystery murders and unsolved cases. I know you have a book to talk about, but I'm just curious, what do you think all this obsession with true crime is about? What does it say about us?
You listen, you asked the question that I ask all the time. And not only do I report on 2020 every week on this, but I also host our podcast, 2020 The After Show, every Monday, talking about this, sort of dissecting what we just learned. And I ask myself that too. I mean, of course it's intriguing. Of course the stories we report often are captivating and just, as you said, hard pounding and on the edge of your seat. But I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I am stunned when women, a lot of women, probably mostly women, come up to me and say, I can't wait for this week's episode, or last week, I knew it. I so appreciate you're doing this. I love the reporting and so forth. And I'm thinking, okay, now what is that saying about you? But, I think more than anything, I would like to think it's the way we present the stories. I think on 2020, because we do have a history of storytelling and really sort of getting into the heart of matters. And also from a very human perspective, we never lose sight of the fact that there are victims here and there are families and that there are lives that have been affected and, just obviously impacted in a very horrible way. And I think for me, I approach each one of these reports like that. When I'm connecting with a mom who might have lost a daughter or a spouse who has lost the other one for whatever reasons, I approach it as these are people, these are human beings. And I think that people are obsessed not so much with the gore of the crime, but just the untangling, the investigation. How did they put it together? How did they determine? Did I know from the very beginning? And I think women just really love detail like that. You know, we've always been those types of creatures. So we want to know, would I have seen this coming? Will I learn something from this? Maybe, my life is thankfully not that bad, but let me see what I can learn about other people's lives. I think women are just naturally curious. I mean, we've always been a little nosy that way.
That's true.
Is the obsession a suburban white women's craze, or are Black women into it too?
Well, you know what? That's a very good question because I've reported on that before, sort of what they call missing white woman syndrome. My late colleague Gwen Eiffel actually labeled it that many years ago. Like we get obsessed with the missing white woman, and we've actually been open and honest enough on 2020 to talk about that and to do a report on that. And I think because we are so aware of that, we have made it a point to hit a range of reporting. So if there's a story in Montclair, New Jersey about a Black woman who was either, murdered or went missing or the suspect is on the loose, we have now made those front and center stories that we cover too. So I hate to say it's equal opportunity true crime, but, we really have been making an effort to sort of talk about all kinds of victims and all people from every walk of life, not just the suburban blonde, a woman who had a tragedy befall them. And so I think it's important that we look at, everybody who's been affected by crime.
And I think that speaks to the importance of diversity and also the importance of representation. You have worked for ABC News for 30 years. You've been married for 30 years. Wow. Did you ever think you would be, in one area with such prestige for so long?
Well, I would like to think that I dreamt of that, but I certainly never would have guessed 30 years. And let's just clarify, I was so young when I arrived. So young, we could barely even talk about it, whether I was legal or not. But I had worked in local news all my life coming up through the business, and I typically would work in a place for 2 or 3 years. I worked in Tennessee and in Georgia, where I'm from, and in Florida. But I came to New York obviously in pursuit of a network news career. And I started at NBC before I came to ABC. And I was there for a handful of years, 5 or 6 years. And when I came to ABC, of course, I hoped to have a long career there, but I don't know that I was necessarily thinking, wow, 30 years, I'll be talking to you guys about my career all this time. But what a pleasure it is to have actually had an opportunity to be there all this time and to have experienced so much and to have worked with some of the greats in the industry.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know what? Can I just say I love like when they announced you for 2020 and you had that what is it, the coat on, and it's like the picture.
My trench coat.
Yes, I was like, get it, Deborah.
Oh, well, listen, there's a little story behind that coat that you will love. Rachel Roy, the designer behind it, a woman of color who I bought that coat from years ago when she was here in New York City, and we had become friendly, and I bought that. And it was such a beautiful, it's a silk trench coat. And I thought, it's not very practical, but it sure is pretty. And I got it, and I'm not sure that I had ever worn it. I maybe pulled it out one time because, I mean, it's not going to break the wind on your back because it's a silk trench coat. And I had it in the back of my closet, and I had not really worn it, and I was going to, get rid of it, donate it, and something just kept saying, nah, it's kind of cool. Hold on to it. It's kind of cool. And it was in the back of my closet, and when we were looking for a couple of looks to take this photo, I pulled it out, and the ABC stylist said, oh my gosh, let's do that one. And that wound up being the shot. Isn't that funny?
I love it. I love that coat. I love the look. You and David, it's like, y'all some badasses. It's like, I love it.
Oh my gosh, that is exactly the expression one of the PR gals said. She said, Deborah, you have to use this. I said, I don't know. It doesn't look like my style. She goes, no, you look badass in this. I love it. So there you go. There's my badass look.
It's Cafe Mocha. We're on the line with Deborah Roberts of ABC News 2020 and the 2020 After Show podcast. But you have come here to talk about your book that Cafe Mocha listeners are going to love. It's called Sisters Loved and Treasured. Can you talk about the book and the sisterhood that has sort of helped you through this 30-year career at ABC?
Can I ever? Oh my gosh. I love talking, number one, about the book. And I also love talking sisterhood. And I have to tell you, this book has sort of opened up pathways and conversations that I never really probably expected because, it started off being about biological sisters. I'm from a large family. I grew up with 6 sisters, if you can believe it, 6 sisters. And there was a lot of sisterhood in my family. But again, we ran the gamut from my youngest sister is 5 years older than I am. The oldest sister was probably, 15 years older than I was. And so the age range made it very interesting about how we sort of cycled in and out of not only the house, but each other's lives. Somebody was off to college. Somebody was working a job. Somebody was being born. And so we have all these different types of connections and being curious, of course, and that's part of what fuels me, I think, in everything I do, whether it's journalism or whether it's, in this case, writing a book. I was really curious about relationships and sisters. And, they say you write about what you know. And what I know is family, siblings, and certainly sisters. So I wanted to explore the sister connection. I, as an adult, felt that my sister connection with my biological sisters was starting to fray just a little bit. We weren't all as connected. We didn't talk as often as we used to. My youngest sister and I sometimes would butt heads. And, we weren't all really, I just remembered us being a lot more connected when I was younger. And then I spoke with other people about their sisters just in passing, and I realized I'm not alone. This is true of a lot of people. Either they have very tight connections and they talk to their sisters all the time, or they've had problems, or they've had ups and downs, or they don't talk much at all. And I thought, but at the end of the day, they all would talk about how there's that something, though, but at the end of the day, she's got my back. I know that my sister is always, there's nobody like my sister. So there was something there, even in the midst of trouble and difficulty. And I wanted to explore that a little bit.
Can I ask, I don't have any sisters or brothers, but I'm curious, what happens in later life that pulls sisters apart? Is it the marriage? Is it the kids? Is it moving away for a job? Or is it,
It's life. All of the above. It's life. It's life. I think that I heard from so many sisters, the testimonials were just amazing about how either they were super close when they were little, and then one of them went off to college or moved to another state or another country, or they got married and they had children, and somehow, and let's face it, we're in this world now where we don't all necessarily live in the same communities like we used to when we were younger. And people are they are separated, or one sister might have a bigger life than another one. In the case of me, I have this big job and this big career, and I live in big New York City. I have siblings who live in the South, in Georgia, and in Texas, in Florida, and their lives are no less rich, but they're not quite the same as mine. And so you drift sometimes. And I think a number of sisters told me that they experienced that. They drifted and they were trying to find their way back. And sometimes that was difficult. Your sister is your treasure. Shonda Rhimes said to me, nobody could work with me like my sister. Her sister, Sandy, works in her production company. And she said, because my sister is somebody I can trust. She's got my back. I don't know that I could just trust anybody working in my business alongside me, but my sister, that's somebody different. Right. And that's a theme that I heard over and over again.
Growing up, I have 5 sisters and 2 brothers.
Oh,
I think that having the problem was them just being my sisters and not being my friend. I think my sisters were that I had best friends, and I didn't consider them as my best friend. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that happens. And I've seen that happen in my own family, my sister Janet. And I talk about this in the book, too, about all of us some of us had closer connections. Some of them were lost over the years. My 2 sisters, Benny and Janet, were like close. They were joined at the hip. They're like a year and a half apart. And they sort of drifted. And then, when Benny got married, Janet wasn't in her wedding. They were having a little bit of a tiff at the time. Or when Janet got married, I don't know that Benny somehow was there, or maybe she was traveling or somehow wasn't there. The point is, they had connected with other friends and they just were losing that stuff of sisterhood. And my sisters and I have all talked about this. And I will say that the book has been an opportunity for us to really kind of clear the air, to share some stories, to connect again, because at the end of the day, you need to talk about things that, that might be out there. But I think that there is some truth to that. Your sister doesn't necessarily have to be your BFF in all things. Many times we have BFFs, but your BFF is never going to be quite like your sister. Who else grew up with you? Who else has that family history? Who else knows when you maybe, tripped and broke your tooth out of your mouth, or maybe she was the one who pushed you or tripped you, and that's how you broke your tooth. and who else knows all of that family history in a way that really is a little more special than someone else in your life that you've known since high school or college. Nobody is like your sister. The sisterhood is a powerful bond, whether you like it or not.
It's Cafe Mocha. We're talking to New York Times bestselling author and co-anchor of ABC News 2020 and host of 2020 The After Show, Deborah Roberts. Her new book is titled Sisters, Loved and Treasured. And you have stories from people like Viola Davis, Ariana Huffington, Shonda Rhimes, Connie Chung.
Connie Chung, yeah.
Oh, I mean, out of all
Jenna
of those,
Bush Hager and her sister Barbara.
How did you get these wonderful women to give you the stories?
She's Deborah Roberts.
I'm a good journalist. Come on, I'm a good journalist.
Sometimes, you like me asking them hard questions, though, Deborah.
Exactly. And some of them probably did worry about that in the beginning. I will say that I really did mine the collection of people that I either knew or had a passing knowledge of. I had interviewed Viola a few times and just felt a real connection to her, and she was very open to the idea. Others, I had Ariana Huffington, I've seen socially over the years, and I reached out, I emailed her and said, would you be willing to do this? Connie Chung, of course, just such a giant in the field, and Connie and I have, run into each other over the years. And so many of them just were quick to say, oh, gosh, yes, I love my sister. Or Connie, in Connie's case, Connie's like, my sisters all drove me crazy. I was the youngest, and they were all there telling me what to do and all this. She was so honest in that Connie way. And she said it was only when we were adults that we really started to form a bond. And I really really loved hearing the various stories because I want people to see themselves reflected in this book. Even if you don't have the tightest relationship, there are plenty of folks in my book who are just so close with their sisters. And then there's some who've said that, we've had some real problems, or I don't know that we would really be friends if we weren't sisters, and, that kind of thing. So, and then that does happen, your sister is really more of a different relationship. She may not be your best buddy, but she is your sister. And so many people, particularly as they've gotten older, their parents have passed or their parents are ill, and they have relied on each other, and they've come back to that familial bond, that family that has to be there for you in a way that no one else can. So there is something about that relationship that is unique, and that is, I would hope, just uplifting, and can be not only just gratifying, but just can be satisfying in your life.
Definitely is. Be sure to pick up the book, Sisters Loved and Treasured. It's available right now. And you can see more of Deborah on ABC's 2020 Friday nights and streaming the next day on Hulu and Disney Plus. You can also hear more on the 2020 podcast that she hosts called The After Show, available wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much, Ms. Roberts.
Always a pleasure. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Her book is about growing and healing relationships with your sisters. Sisters Loved and Treasured is the book. We're talking to Deborah Roberts, host of 2020. It's Cafe Mocha.
We're at Cafe Mocha Radio. Socially savvy on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Serving up more Cafe Mocha on the way.
UNITY. UNITY, that's a unity.
It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha with Lonnie Love, Yo-Yo, and our producer, Angelique, on the line. He can currently be seen starring as Dr. Ben Warren on Grey's Anatomy, where he made a full-time return to the ER in September of 2024. And outside of his on-screen work, he's deeply committed to mentoring and arts advocacy, and he's a passionate advocate for diversity, equity, and the future of the entertainment industry. Please welcome to Cafe Mocha, the one and only Jason George. Hey, Jason.
Hey.
What's good? I like that intro. That makes me sound good.
You are good.
Makes me sound like I'm out there doing things.
Angelique, the last time I saw Jason, we were at a Dodgers baseball game, and he was having a good time, y'all. He was like,
look, I'm going to have a good time no matter where I go.
That's
look,
right.
I got 3 kids. I got a job. I'm like, life is good. There's no reason to complain in my world. And so I try and pay it forward any way I can. But I'm also going to make sure I have a good time wherever I'm at. So.
Exactly. Well, we are so excited about Grey's Anatomy season 22. Congratulations on that.
Oh, appreciate you. How crazy is that? 22 is like not a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing gets 22 seasons doesn't have. You don't even get. I mean, we do about 18 or 20 episodes a season now, which right after the pandemic, Grey's is doing 25. That's not a thing anymore. Like shows do like 8 episodes, 10 episodes. Actors get paid by the episode. So I'm blessed. I'm just thankful that more episodes. Let's do more. Let's do more seasons and more episodes.
What do you think is the key to the longevity of Grey's Anatomy?
You know what? If I'm real, I think that it starts with, number one, Shonda Rhimes. She's probably like one of the writers of our time.
Absolutely.
But she never forgot what her inner fan was. You know what I mean? Like she still knows what it is to be the fan she was when she was a teenager. And so she wrote this show. And here's the thing that I figured out, because I crunched the numbers, Lonnie. I broke it down. I did science on this. I analyzed the data. And, streaming came along right around the middle of Grey's run and picked it up to a whole new height. So this whole younger generation, teens and that sort of thing, is what I discovered. I got teenage girls, and therefore any teenage boys who want to be able to converse with teenage girls have to check out this show called Grey's Anatomy that's on streaming around 9th grade, beginning of high school. Because what it is, the show is about young people going to school, drinking from a fire hose of knowledge, feeling like they're failing all day, every day, trying to find their people, trying to find a special person. and trying to find just somebody to make them feel like you're not an idiot, you're going to be okay. Now, is that a medical student on Grey's Anatomy, or is that every one of us in high school, first year?
Right.
Or first year of college, or first year of the job you just started. You know what I'm saying? So like that sensation that Shonda captured was, I think the thing that everybody latches onto and goes, I know that feeling. Like, I don't know what I'm doing right now at the place I'm at, be it school or work or in this relationship. I'm figuring it out as best I can. Just cut me some slack. Give me a break. You know what I mean?
And the thing of
show everybody registers.
And the thing of it is that it's streaming now. Like, tons of the episodes are streaming, so it really is going to a new generation of people who may not have even seen or even know it's still on TV on a weekly basis, which is great, because once something hits, once it hits a streamer, boom.
Look, do you know they just broke out this? Now, this really is data that, like, but it's not mine. Other people broke this out. But Grey's is the second most streamed thing there is.
Really?
Like literally, the only thing that's streamed more than that is an animated thing for kids, where basically parents put it on the background. I mean, to babysit their kids. Like, Grey, and that's animated. So if you're talking live action scripted. Because, Grey's is on Hulu and Netflix, and it goes worldwide. Because, like I said, everything I was describing in terms of the feelings that the feels that it gives you is universal. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. So, translated, I've emailed with the guy who does my voice in French. I think I have a decent voice, but the French dude, I want his voice. Like, he make me sound good, right? Stream it everywhere.
I love it.
That's funny.
It's Cafe Mocha on the line. Actor Jason George, Grey's Anatomy. We are just so happy for you. We've been talking about, the reason why Grey's has lasted as long, but you have to also admit it's great storytelling and it's phenomenal acting, and the camera, the shots, and it gets you in your feels. And so what is it like being part of that team, and what can we expect from your character, if you can tell us anything this season?
Wow. What's it like to be part of this team? The best part is, you know how hard it is to get a show on the air, period.
Yes.
Let alone go one season, let alone go 3 or 5. So 22 is a blessing beyond belief. And the cool part is, when you have that stability, something that resembles stability, you can really relax and do your best work. And so everybody flourishes, and it creates a family. So, like, kids have been born on this show, grown up, young people, people who came to the show because their parents worked on the show, now have careers and kids of their own. It's kind of beautiful. And you can't ever expect to have it again. That's the thing about it is, I did probably like 8 or 9 shows before I finally became a regular on Grey's, and so I'm very, very aware of how much of a blessing this is. And so it's that thing where you're like, look, every day I pay attention to like how, like, I really appreciate all the people I work with, and they're all at the best of their game because they've had a chance to really get into their craft, whether it be the camera work, like you were talking about, like our DPs, and the other part I'll say this, we have some of the best diversity of anybody, of any show you've ever experienced. Our DP, John, is a woman. They created a room because she just had a baby, so she's got to breastfeed. And so there's an entire room for, anybody who's got a young child on set to be able to go to breastfeed. Our other DP, Byron, is a man of color. It's like, Debbie Allen is our regular producing director. Debbie Allen, y'all. So you want to talk about creating a family atmosphere. That's just how Debbie rolls. So it's this absolute blessing for me. So, and so that's what it feels like for me personally, in terms of the character, in terms of Ben Warren. I'm excited because, like, this first episode, the finale of last season, there was an explosion in the hospital. And Ben just got done being a firefighter. So, he gets to go into his Action Jackson mode a little bit and take off running. I get happy when they say, and then Ben runs into the building. I'm like, got in the high school track team. Here we go. get the camera ready. You know, I'm like, it's game on. So that's going to be, it's going to start the season off with literally a bang. And for Ben, I feel like this season, it's cool because Ben has been here and been there. He was an anesthesiologist and he was a firefighter, and now he's back to being surgery, and so it's locked in now. And I think he's going to level up this year in a way that is going to be kind of dope. I think he's going to finally, turn that corner and instead of being the student, he's going to become one of the teachers. I think you're going to see that transition for him this season.
Love it.
You know what, Jason? I think it's important for young people and everybody to see strong Black men on prime TV talk about their role.
100.
Talk about your role as
Say it again.
Who is Ben as a father and a man?
Yo, that's one of my favorite parts because, I mean, if you ever look at any of my social media, it actually says father is the first thing that it says anywhere. Because that's really my job. Acting is my passion, and it happens to be the thing that pays me. But I'm a father first, foremost, forever. That's just the gig. And in fact, I'm on set right now, and my twins are actually 17 years old, thinking about where they want to go to college. They're considering film school, so they're actually sitting on set right now, kind of hanging out, paying attention to what the director does. One is a little more, my daughter's a little more partially maybe going into the director of photography route. And so she's paying attention to what John, our DP, is doing. And so it's like, being a father, being a mentor, being there, helping somebody who's on the come up get to where you are is the whole point. I mean, what else are we here for? You know what I'm saying?
2025 wraps up our 15th anniversary of Cafe Mocha. We love our day one listeners. And for those who just found us, welcome to the family.
UNITY, that's a unity.
It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha. On the line is Jason George. He plays Dr. Warren on Grey's Anatomy. Let's get back into it.
For me, when they made Ben Warren, and I kind of love this, Ben doesn't have any biological children. He's got 3 kids. One came with Bailey, and then they've adopted 2. One was, is a little girl who was one of his best friends, died on the job as being a firefighter. They took her in. Another one was a homeless kid who was almost grown, who was like 16, 17 when they took him in, but they knew he had nobody. And they're like, this kid is smart, and he kind of thinks he wants to be a doctor because he kind of digs that stuff, and he's got this. So we said, you know what? 2 doctors in the house, let's give him a shot. And that representation to me, I love being one half of a couple that are Black, educated, passionate, still in love with each other. Still, they'll fight it out. I mean, they'll get in arguments, but nobody's going anywhere. That for me is a model that I love putting out in the world. And, that's actually, I tell people when Station 19 got canceled, we had a conversation about if there was still a story for Ben to bring, that made it worthwhile coming back over to Grey's. And fortunately, Meg Marinus, our showrunner, is fantastic, and she had all kinds of great ideas. And I was like, dope, let's do it. But the thing for me, really, I said, even more than I care about Ben, I actually care about Ben and Bailey. The fans call it Benley, right? Like Benley to me is probably the most important thing because I like that. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole, I'm like, it's cool to be that couple that like the will they won't they, this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, no, I enjoy this particular show. I like being that couple that like, they're always going to be, they'll bend it, but it will never break.
It shows you like it.
Appreciate you. Thank you for that.
And the thing is that I think the lesson for me in all of this is that we can have have our stories without it being a big, it's gotta be our story. You know what I mean? It's like, it was written, it happens. And I appreciate, your character and what it presents to the country and now globally throughout the world. And I think that that's what we always originally wanted to do when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And talking about that, you're a passionate advocate for DEI and the future of the entertainment industry.
Dr. Ben Warren, aka Jason George from Grey's Anatomy. We've got more coming up on Cafe Mocha.
Want a little more of our flavor? Stay right there. It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha. On the line, actor Jason George, Grey's Anatomy. You serve on the national board for SAG and AFTRA. And can you tell us a little bit about your work and the purpose of it?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's with SAG-AFTRA, it's a little bit self-interested and a little bit, for lack of a better word, philanthropy. You know what I mean? A little bit looking out for other people, because I just want to make sure, acting is hard enough as it is, because, there are only so many jobs. And for every one role, there's dozens of actors trying to get it. So when you do work, you need to get paid, because it may be a year before you ever work again. When you get paid well, you need to be taken care of, you need to be respected. So that's why I stick out for it. But then the other part is people have, we're the entertainment industry. We're the mirror to the world, or we're the dream, right? We show what could be, or we show what is. And we need to remember that, because what we put on the screen is important. So if, I remember for me, I do it. Of course, I start being a person of color, but then I'm acutely aware of, I have so many friends that are in the disability community. I believe in powerful women. I have too many powerful women in my life. So I remember there was one day I was talking with a first AD, and she said that on one show, just as an experiment, she made sure that all the background in this crowd scene was literally half men and half women. The way the world is, 51% of the world are women, right? So she just made it 50-50. And one of the producers goes, wow, there's a lot of women in this scene. Like, literally, it felt weird to him, because TV always shows much more men. Is always male-centric. You know what I mean? It's like, those are the kind of things that, like, we need to change, because he's used to watching old school TV, right? We're used to the hero always being a dude. We're used to the hero always being a white person. We're used to this, that, and the other. And I'm like, or we can flip it up a little bit, you know what I mean? And cool part is, right now, we're in a world of streaming. Diversity is a requirement of the business model. This is what excites me. Because back in the day, I mean, y'all know, I'm not 20. I mean, I'm not 25 anymore. Back in the day, when they had the black person on the show, he's the black best friend. He's the sidekick. It's a very special episode where we talk about XYZ dealing with race. But that's because you were trying to hit the most massive audience you could. And now with streaming, you need each individual person to choose to opt in to subscribe to your service. So you got to give them a little something that looks like them. So suddenly you got shows. You have a lot more shows that are about people of color. You have a lot more shows that feature women. You have a lot more shows that feature older people, seniors. You know what I mean? There have been shows written by and starring people with disabilities. And that, for me, is what's up. And I'm like, you want your streamer to be in the game, you got to give a little something for everybody. You know what I mean? I can't be the sidekick anymore. You know what I mean? You got to put it out there.
And what I love is that the shows are, successful. It's not like they're putting out garbage and nobody's watching. A lot of these shows are doing very well with tons of eyeballs 100%. On them, so.
100%. Well, good is good. I mean, the one I always use, the example I always use is Creed is Rocky.
Right.
But the last Rocky didn't do a fraction of what Creed did. You know what I mean?
Right.
It reinvented that franchise, because you put basically the same story through a different lens, which made it it was so specific you get universal. You know what I mean? Everybody knows what it is everybody can understand what it is to be set up for failure from day one, which is what Adonis Creed felt like. You know what I mean? My dad was this great man, but I felt like trash and thrown to the side. So I got to fight the world to prove I'm worth something. Everybody who doesn't understand that a little bit. That's what Rocky felt. It's what Adonis Creed feels. And you just change it up and you bring it through a new lens. And the numbers that it did ain't just black people watching that movie.
That's right.
Everybody gets that. It's universal. The whole world's watching Black Panther save the world. You know what I mean?
Wrapping up the show. Happy New Year. Don't forget, January 1 starts Dry January. You hear that, Lonnie? Until next time, you can find us on the socials at Cafe Mocha Radio. Cafe Mocha is a production of Miles Ahead Broadcasting in partnership with Super Radio. Executive producer Sheila Eldridge. For comments, booking, or more information, visit cafemocharadio.com.